I think this one is hard. I'm going to be honest. Before I tell you what I would do, I don't think this is an easy one because there's a lot at play. There's clearly a more favorable matchup, I would say, if the Eagles could get to the 2 seed because the Packers right now look like the worst team in the NFC postseason. So I see all that. I know how choppy the offense has been. I see all that. But Hugh, I've been for the last, I don't know how many hours it's been since the game ended on Sunday, and then watching the Niners and the Bears on Sunday night, and then last night with the Rams and the Falcons. I've been watching and thinking a lot about this. And I've been weighing all these things in my head for, 30-something hours, whatever it's been since the Eagles played their football game on Sunday. And here's where I'm at. I wouldn't play. I think the Eagles should rest their starters on Sunday against the Washington Commanders. And I'll tell you why. I have several reasons why I think the smart play for the Eagles on Sunday is to rest. Number one, it matters. Teams that come off a bye play better. Look at Jalen Carter, what he was able to do off a few weeks off. He wasn't healthy, got a few weeks off. He looked great. And I think about the advantage the Eagles could get if they sat maybe Cam Jurgens, Landon Dickerson, guys that have felt banged up and not right the entire season. So I'm going to prioritize the health and the rest and try to get that bye, kind of the self-created bye, before the first round of the playoffs. The second thing that's in my head is they need help. They could go out there and play Sunday, and it doesn't matter, right? If the Bears win the game, and I think the Bears are going to win the game. I know some people are hoping the Lions are going to do us a favor. I don't know, guys. Since week 3, the Lions are 7-7, and the Bears are 11-3. I think the Bears are going to win that game. It's outdoors.
Yeah, they've been playing better.
Yeah, Jared Goff outdoors is not very good in the cold. I think the Eagles could try, but I don't think it's going to matter. I think the Bears are going to win on Sunday and just take the 2 seed. So it would really be for nothing when it comes to that. So I don't think it's going to work out in our favor in terms of the Bears result. The other thing that's in my head, and I can't ignore this. 2 years ago, the Eagles had a chance to win the NFC East, but they needed the Dallas Cowboys to lose in Washington. And they rolled their starters out in MetLife Stadium, and A.J. Brown got a season-ending knee injury, and he couldn't play in the playoffs. Jalen Hurts dislocated his finger, and they were a disaster the next week, in Tampa Bay. So they went and tried. It didn't work out. They got players hurt, and they lost their first playoff game. So that looms in my head, and I wonder if it looms in Nick Sirianni's. And the last thing is, I think last night changed the equation a little bit. So the Rams lost last night, right?
Yes.
Saturday night.
Shout out to ATL.
Yeah, well, the Falcons beat them last night. So Saturday night is the Seahawks and the 49ers, right? That's for the number 1 overall seed.
Yes.
If the 49ers win that game, the Rams are the 6th seed no matter what happens on Sunday. So that means the Rams aren't going to play their players on Sunday, which means they're going to rest all their guys. So what I don't want to happen is the Eagles play on Sunday, try their hardest, still end up the 3 seed. Meanwhile, the Rams, who will be our opponent a week from now, create a bye for themselves. It just doesn't feel like it's worth it. Hugh, where do you come down? 215-592-9490 for everyone. It is a big conversation, and it's one I don't think is simple this time, but I would sit the players. I would sit the starters. That means no Jalen, no AJ, no Devontae, no Saquon, no O-line, Carter, Quinyon, Cooper, Bond, the stars. They all sit on Sunday, and I get them ready for the playoffs as the number 3 seed. Hugh, where do you come down?
You gave me a lot to digest, Joe. You really, really did. But I look at it like this. I feel like last night we were given a gift by what the Atlanta Falcons did. Now, I know it's a slim chance, and you're still not in control of your destiny.
Nope.
But I would like to think that I have a say in it, because when you talk about potentially what the Chicago Bears could do or couldn't do coming up this weekend, that puts you in a spot to be in control of that 2nd seed. And I honestly feel this is why I feel as strongly as I do. This team has not, you're in a good spot. And when you step back and we get done with this season, we're going to look at this team and say, you know what? For all of their warts, had a pretty damn good season. That's a fact. When you look at the way that we critique this team on a daily basis and what they were able to accomplish under the circumstances, when you talk about the offensive line being as banged up as they are, the trepidation about the quarterback, the offensive coordinator, the head coach, for all that matters, this is a really good season that they had. But they haven't lived up to the expectations or the potential that we thought that they had. So with that being said, I feel like we need one more tune-up going into this last game, because we have not earned the right to rest on our laurels. That's kind of how I look at it. when you look at the way that this season has gone, even though it's a tremendous season and Jalen's put up he's made history. I'll just leave it at that. He's made history in some aspects.
Good history?
Don't do that.
I'm just wondering what history we're talking about.
But for you to come off of a defending Super Bowl champion and be in the position to be in the playoffs that you're in right now, you shouldn't feel comfortable. And the reason I feel like they should play is because this offense is not clicking right now. It's just not.
Well, so I agree with you on that. And there's two parts to this, right? There's the one part is, could the Eagles make their path better? And I think we'd all agree the 2 seed is better than the 3 seed, right? That's obvious. That's clear. You could get a second home game. You could play the 7 seed. The 2 seed is better. I agree with everyone on that. The second part is what you just brought up, Hugh, and that is tune up, right? Get better. Is 1 week going to change anything? Like, is week 18 against the Commanders going to change the Eagles' offense in any way? I don't think it is. This is what they are.
Well, I think, you know what, Joe? And you're probably correct. Because I went into the game this weekend thinking that what they did against the Raiders and against the Commodores, that they would have a resurgence. That wasn't the case, but still. You have to figure out, I think that you're still in a position where you have to figure out how to rescue your defense. And I know a lot of people are like, what do you mean by rescue your defense? They're probably, in order for us to get to where we ultimately want to be, they're going to probably have to stand on their head the whole time.
Of course they are. And I want to give them a little rest here this week, a little break.
With that being said, I need to figure out as best I possibly can how to make sure that defense, when they're out there playing, they're not out there for a long time.
Yeah, I hear that. 215-592-9494. A couple other things on this, because there's so much that goes into the equation here. The Eagles have been a really good road team. They've been a good road team under Sirianni this year. They've been a good road team under Sirianni all 5 years. In fact, they have the most road wins in the NFL since Sirianni took over. It's like, I know there's an advantage of having the second home game here. I think we could go to Chicago in the second round and win. I don't think it's like, oh no, we have to go to Soldier Field to play the Bears. Yeah, the Eagles could beat the Bears here. They could beat the Bears there. I think they could beat the Bears wherever they play them if they have to play them in the second round. So that's not enough for me. And let me throw one more thing in. Are we sure the Eagles can't beat the Commanders with their backups?
No, I don't. See, for me, that's not.
I think. Well, I'm saying for that part of the equation.
Yeah,
because we want to win the game. I think they could win the game with the backups.
Yeah, I don't have a doubt about that. For me, that's not the thing. I think you need to be playing your best football at this point, and at no point during this season, even though it was a tremendous season, have you shown me your best football like all season long. When on the offensive side of the ball. Where can you point to and say, hey, this is the best football that they've played for a stretch?
Against a good team, it's hard to find one. I mean,
yeah,
I guess
and I know that there's a lot of intangibles in
the
there.
Vikings game. And the Vikings aren't any good, but Flores is a good coordinator and all that.
But there's a lot of intangibles in there. But when you talk about the level that they've set for themselves and the standard that they've set for themselves and where they played at this year, I don't know any diehard Eagle fan that feels complacent with the way that they play.
Yeah, but I'm not. I guess I'm at the point where I'm not going to feel any. If they go out there with their starters on Sunday and they drop 45 on the Commanders, it doesn't do anything. Like they just did that. They dropped 30 on the Raiders. They dropped 20 something on the Commanders. They went out there and scored 13 against the Bills. There's no correlation. This whole thing is risk versus reward, and I
hear you. And then you're talking about you're worried about you could never. In my opinion, playing in the NFL, you can't worry about injuries.
But the Eagles do that all the time, right?
Yeah, I mean, when you're decimated with them, but you can get hurt running down a tunnel.
Well, then how come they don't play in the preseason?
Right? You know why they don't play in the preseason,
why?
Joe? It's because there's been a mandate in the preseason that nobody plays anymore. I was a fan. I like playing in the preseason.
No, I know, but the Eagles have shown us they take caution when it comes to injuries. Like, to me, this is a preseason game on Sunday. It's a preseason game, and week 1 of the new season starts in the wild card round. So this is the final preseason game. I'm not playing anyone, and I know we want the two. Guys, I don't think the Bears are losing. I have a feeling if they play, we're going to look up at halftime, and it's 24-7 Bears, and we're like, oh, crap. This is a waste of time. Get them off the field.
Yeah, and the reason why they stopped playing in preseason, Joe, is because when they negotiated in the collective bargaining agreement, some of those idiots, that's what they wanted to do.
Yeah, but not for the games. That's just for practice.
They negotiated for them not to play as much in the preseason.
No, but there's nothing in there they can't play in the preseason. The players.
I mean, most people don't want to play anymore.
I know,
and they want to stay healthy. But to me, that's where I feel I mean, the game is still a great game, but when you talk about certain skills and fundamentals that players have, they don't have those.
Yeah, and I hear that. To me, that goes to the risk versus reward. This team doesn't play in the preseason. I consider this basically a preseason game.